Jesus explained the secret to being resilient and strong in life. There was a time when the hills of Galilee rested beneath the soft glow of the morning sun, when fishermen cast their nets into silver waters, and when weary travelers followed dusty roads in search of hope. It was in this quiet corner of the ancient world that a man named Jesus walked among ordinary people, people who knew hardship, people who carried hidden fears. People who wondered how they could remain strong when life seemed determined to break them. And as the wind drifted across the fields and olive trees whispered beneath the sky, Jesus began revealing a secret that was far deeper than physical strength, a secret about resilience, about standing firm when storms arrive, and about finding a source of power that the world could never take away. The people who listened to him lived in uncertain times. Roman soldiers marched through their streets, taxes burdened their families, sickness often arrived without warning, and tomorrow was never guaranteed. Yet Jesus rarely spoke about escaping difficulties. Instead, he spoke about something far more mysterious. He spoke of foundations. He told stories of seeds planted in different soils, of houses built upon rock and sand, of lamps shining in darkness. Through these simple images, he revealed a profound truth. That true strength is not discovered when life is easy, but when challenges test the deepest parts of the human soul. The strongest person, according to Jesus, was not the one who never faced trouble, but the one who remained faithful, steady, and unshaken when trouble came. And perhaps this is why his words have echoed through centuries, because every generation eventually faces its own storms. Every heart experiences moments of loss, uncertainty, disappointment, and fear. Yet hidden within the teachings of Jesus lies a remarkable key to endurance, a secret that transformed fishermen into courageous messengers, and ordinary people into examples of extraordinary faith. In the next part, we will step deeper into one of his most powerful teachings and uncover the foundation that Jesus said could withstand every storm life brings. And if you enjoy these peaceful journeys into history, mystery, and faith, gently subscribe to Immersive Tales, and join us as the story continues. As the day slowly unfolded across the shores of the Sea of Galilee, Jesus gathered his listeners and spoke words that seemed simple on the surface, yet carried a depth that few immediately understood. He described two builders, two men who appeared remarkably similar. Both worked hard, both dreamed of security, both built houses meant to shelter them from the future. To anyone passing by, their homes may have looked almost identical. Yet beneath the ground, hidden from every eye, lay the difference that would determine everything. One builder dug deeply and anchored his house upon solid rock, while the other chose the easier path, building upon sand that shifted beneath his feet. For a time, there seemed to be no difference at all. The sun rose each morning, gentle breezes moved across the land, and both houses stood proudly against the horizon. But Jesus was not interested in fair weather. Because resilience is never revealed during calm seasons. It is revealed when the skies darken, when the wind begins to howl, when floods rise without warning, and when life becomes a test of everything a person believes. Then came the storm, rain fell from the heavens, rivers surged against the foundations, and powerful winds struck both homes with equal force. The house built upon sand trembled, cracked, and finally collapsed. While the house anchored to the rock remained standing through the chaos, the crowd listened carefully, because they understood that Jesus was speaking about far more than buildings. He was describing the human heart. The rock was not wealth, not status, not physical power. It was the practice of hearing His words and living by them. Day after day, choice after choice, building an inner foundation strong enough to withstand life's greatest storms. This was the secret Jesus revealed. Resilience is not created in a single dramatic moment. It is built quietly, patiently, long before the storm arrives. And in the next part, we will uncover why Jesus believed that humility, something the world often overlooks, was one of the greatest sources of strength a person could ever possess. As evening shadows stretched across the hills and the golden light of sunset faded into the horizon, Jesus continued teaching truths that often surprised those who listened. In a world that admired power, authority, and public recognition, He spoke instead about humility. Yet this was not the weakness many imagined. It was a quiet strength, a deep-rooted confidence that did not depend on praise or approval from others. Again and again, Jesus showed that the people most prepared to endure life's burdens were often the ones who understood their own limitations, the ones who remained teachable, patient, and willing to trust in something greater than themselves. One day, His disciples began discussing who among them was the greatest, who deserved the highest honor, who would stand closest to glory. But Jesus gently turned their understanding upside down. He spoke of servants rather than rulers, of giving rather than receiving, of lowering oneself rather than seeking elevation. To many, these words seemed strange. Yet hidden within them was a profound secret about resilience. Pride is fragile, it cracks when challenged, it fears failure. It constantly seeks validation, but humility possesses a different kind of strength. It accepts difficulties as opportunities to grow. It remains calm when recognition disappears. It continues forward even when nobody is watching, because its foundation rests on purpose rather than applause. Perhaps this is why the life of Jesus itself became the greatest example of His teaching. He faced rejection, misunderstanding, hardship, and sorrow, yet never abandoned His mission. His strength flowed not from worldly power, but from unwavering trust, quiet humility, and complete faith in the path before Him. Through His example, He revealed that resilience is not about becoming harder, it is about becoming deeper, stronger at the roots, steadier within the soul. And in the next part, we will explore the remarkable connection Jesus taught between inner peace and unshakable strength. A lesson that has guided countless people through their darkest nights and greatest storms. As the years passed and the crowds continued to gather around him, Jesus often spoke about something that seemed almost impossible to find in a troubled world: peace. Not the temporary peace that comes when problems disappear, but a deeper peace, one that remains even when uncertainty surrounds every side. The people of his time understood fear very well. They lived beneath political tension, economic hardship, and constant uncertainty about the future. Yet Jesus repeatedly pointed toward a source of calm that existed beyond circumstances, a quiet refuge within the soul, a place where fear could not fully take control. One evening, as darkness settled over the Sea of Galilee, Jesus and his disciples crossed the water in a small boat. At first the journey was peaceful. Gentle waves rocked the vessel beneath a canopy of stars. But suddenly, a violent storm swept across the lake. Fierce winds roared through the night, towering waves crashed against the